At 4:15 in the morning, my phone flashes unknown HOA line, and a voice that sounds like a leaf blower in pearls hisses into my ear. Open your ranch gate immediately, Mr. Hargrave. You're blocking community egress. I roll over in bed, squinting at the screen, wondering if this is some kind of fever dream. Community egress? Lady, it's not even dawn. I look out the window, and sure enough, there's a conga line of SU versus idling on the cul-de-sac like they're about to invade Normandy, all pointed directly at my locked cattle gate on my land. Someone's already zip-tied a laminated sign to it that reads Sunset Palms HOA Trail, members only. I count at least 7 vehicles, exhaust puffing into the cold desert air. I'm still half asleep, wearing yesterday's t-shirt, when a woman wearing a sash that literally says President taps a bolt cutter against my chain like a judge's gavel. She's got a megaphone in her other hand. A megaphone. At 4:15 in the morning. My name's Colin Hargrave. I bought a quiet stucco house on the edge of Mesquite Hollow, Arizona, mostly for the backyard that connects to the 12-acre slice of scrubland I still own. What my family calls the ranch, what Zillow calls undevelopable charm. I keep 3 rescue Mustangs named Buck, Cisco, and Daisy, a tractor older than me that runs on spite and diesel, and a schedule that avoids humans as much as possible. The property's been in my family since 1971. My grandfather built the stock tank himself, dug the well by hand, and strung every foot of barbed wire on those fence lines. When I inherited it, I knew I wanted to live next to it, not on some golf course subdivision 3 towns over. So I found this house, literally butted up against my own ranch land, and figured I'd live in peace. Enter Naen Halpern, HOA president of Sunset Palms, a woman who lives for bylaws the way hawks live for thermals. Her opening move when I moved in was a welcome basket containing lavender soap, a neighborhood directory, and a violation notice for unapproved rural aesthetics. The violation cited my barn, which is not in the HOA, not on HOA property, and frankly none of her business. The campaign begins almost immediately after that. She photographs my hay delivery and cites me for unregistered commercial activity, claiming the truck violated the No Commercial Vehicles clause. I pointed out that the FedEx truck that parks in her driveway every other day is also commercial. She said that was different. She declares my cattle guard, the metal grate in my driveway that keeps livestock from wandering, a trip hazard and leaves orange cones labeled property of HOA on my fence posts. When I remove them, she files a complaint for theft of HOA property. She peeks through my slats at dawn, measuring my barn's paint with a Pantone fan like she's some kind of investigator for Sherwin-Williams. I catch her once, and she tells me she's conducting a community aesthetic audit. An audit of a barn that's a quarter mile from the nearest HOA home. Flyers appear around the neighborhood asking, rumor, the Hargrave lot is actually community open space, ask the board. The flyers have clip art of happy hikers and butterflies. My ranch has rattlesnakes and mesquite thorns, not a single butterfly to be found. 2 weeks later, I wake to find my cattle gate festooned with fairy lights and a QR code for Sunset Palms Nature Path. The QR code links to a Facebook group with 43 members called Reclaim Our Trail. Her Facebook lives feature her whispering dramatically, "We're reclaiming our heritage trail. Our community deserves access to nature." Heritage. The trail is my ranch road to a stock tank built by my grandfather and 3 beers. It's not paved. It's not scenic. It's 2 ruts in the caliche with a stock tank at the end that smells like algae and horse manure. But Nadine's got a vision. She posts photos of herself in athleisure wear, hands on hips, staring wistfully at my locked gate like it's the Berlin Wall. The comments are a mix of support and confusion. One person asks, "Isn't that private property?" Nadine replies, "We're researching the legal history." She is not researching anything. She's making it up as she goes. Nadine finally cartwheels over the line with style and a complete disregard for the law. She files an emergency safety addendum with the HOA claiming the ranch road is designated HOA egress for emergency vehicles and has a handyman drill HOA padlocks into my gate posts. Not near them. Into them. She literally defaces my property with a power drill. She also zip ties a sign onto my rural mailbox that reads HOA mail kiosk, cluster box coming soon, then forwards a package addressed to me to the HOA office for inspection. The package contains a replacement part for my tractor. She opens it, photographs it, and files a report claiming I'm running a tractor repair business. When I catch her with a clipboard on my side of the fence, having cut the chain herself with those same bolt cutters, she doesn't apologize. She doesn't back down. She squares up and tells the sheriff, who I called, that I threatened her with a branding iron. The sheriff, a patient man named Deputy Kowalski, asks to see the branding iron. I show him my weapon, a fluorescent orange fly swatter with a daisy on the handle. He does not look impressed with her story. But here's where it gets interesting. Because Nadine filed a copy of her easement at the county recorder's office. Not a real easement. A printout of Google Maps with my ranch road circled in highlighter and a sticky note that reads existing access with a smiley face. She submitted this as a legal document. The recorder's office flags it immediately and calls it what it is, fraudulent filing. Now we've got county legal involved, the state AG inspector, because she also called animal control on my Mustangs claiming they were neglected and dangerous, and because of the mailbox stunt, the United States Postal Inspection Service. Postal Inspector Ramirez calls me on a Tuesday afternoon and asks if I have time to discuss mail tampering. I have all the time in the world for that conversation. Maps don't care about feelings, and the county surveyor lays out parcel lines with fluorescent markers that stop dead at the HOA's back fence. He's got a laser transit, a team of 2 assistants, and plats that date back to when this area was nothing but cattle ranches and copper mines. The HOA owns exactly 0 inches of my ranch. The surveyor puts it in writing. He also notes that someone has installed unauthorized structures, the padlocks and sign, on private land. The sheriff informs Nadine, on camera because Deputy Kowalski is a professional who follows procedure, that the trail is a private ranch road and that cutting my chain is criminal damage to property. He hands her a citation right there on my driveway. She tries to argue that she had community support. He tells her community support is not a legal defense. The AG inspector, a friendly guy named Martinez who actually knows horses, compliments my Mustang's coat condition, checks their hooves, their teeth, their water troughs, and writes no issues found, animals in excellent health on his report. He also notes that filing a false report with animal control is a misdemeanor. Postal Inspector Ramirez, pleasant but deadly precise, explains that interfering with mail is a federal offense and that redirection of mail without authorization violates Title 18, Section 1702 of the U.S. Code. He then gently pockets the HOA's purloined package log, where Nadine documented every piece of my mail she intercepted, as evidence. She kept a log. She documented her own crime. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Rebecca Ortiz, drops a stack of plats, deed language from 1973, tax records, and a picture of my granddad leaning on the same gate Nadine rebranded with vinyl letters. Rebecca smiles when she slides the photo across the table. "That's my favorite piece of evidence," she says. Emergency HOA meeting at the community center. The room is packed. Every homeowner in Sunset Palms showed up, some because they support Nadine, most because they want to see what happens next. Nadine's got a slideshow titled Hargrave Hostility, Navigating a Difficult Neighbor. She's wearing the sash again. She's got a pointer. She starts her presentation talking about community values and shared spaces. Her first click brings up not her presentation deck but sheriff body cam footage the county released to me under public records law. I submitted it as evidence in my restraining order filing, and Rebecca made sure it was part of the meeting packet. The room goes silent. They watch Nadine, bolt cutters in hand, snapping my chain while asserting sovereign control of my fence. They watch me standing there in socks and bedhead, holding a fly swatter, asking her politely to leave. They hear her tell Deputy Kowalski that I threatened her life. The video does not support her story. Ramirez steps forward from the back of the room, introduces himself calmly, and reads a tidy summary. Unauthorized mail redirection, obstruction of delivery, misrepresentation of authority, and tampering with a mailbox, which is federal property. He's got a file folder. It's thick. The sheriff follows with citations for criminal trespass, criminal damage to property, vandalism, and filing a false police report. Each citation comes with a potential fine and possible jail time. My lawyer Rebecca ends with a final touch, a cease and desist order plus a motion for an injunction that freezes HOA funds from being used for any trail amenities, legal defenses related to the Hargrave matter, or any activity on the disputed property. The projector freezes on the photo of Nadine's sash that says President. Someone in the back cough laughs. Madam President of Bad Decisions. Nadine's face goes from confident to pale to bright red in about 10 seconds. By month's end, Nadine is removed from the board by unanimous vote of the homeowners, who are furious that HOA funds were spent on her personal crusade. She's fined personally $12,000 for legal damages, survey costs, and property repair. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Judge Helena Ortiz, no relation to my lawyer, sentences her to 120 hours of community service, assigned with impeccable comedic timing to the county fair's livestock barn, shoveling what she's been metaphorically spreading for months. The federal mail tampering charges come with a separate fine of $5,000 and 2 years of probation. The HOA itself has to pay for my new gate posts, all survey costs, the removal of the fraudulent padlocks, and legal fees totaling another $18,000, which will be assessed to the homeowners as a special levy. Nadine's neighbors are not happy with her. Nadine's face when the gavel came down was worth every sleepless morning, every citation, every passive-aggressive flyer. She stood there in the courtroom, mouth open, sash crumpled in her hands, as the reality of federal mail tampering charges, a criminal record, and a $17,000 personal bill finally sank in. The bailiff had to ask her twice to step away from the bench.